Heroes lose their job. This is out of CaliforniaGlobe.com. Several Long Beach supermarkets close due to city-ordered quote-unquote hero pay bumps. And the really scary part is this type of law action and these types of closures could spread across the United States as we see more and more calls for mandatory pay increases. Hey everybody, it is Thursday, February 4th, 2021. Thank you for joining me. So in Long Beach here in California, the City Council voted unanimously for a pay bump, but they did not financially back the plan, meaning the stores would be on the hook for paying the extra $4 per hour to these what they're calling heroes, frontline, people working in grocery stores through the pandemic. Very hardworking people, absolutely. And yes, I do think they deserve the pay raise, but look how this ended up. These stores now, 25% of Kroger stores are closing in this city. Why? Because the grocery stores were forced to pay the difference, and their margins were so little that they couldn't afford the pay bump for the number of employees that they had, so they had to close down. Now, they're saying this is temporary. They're passing this law for 120 days, but nonetheless, this is a group of people now that are going to be out of work for 120 days. Let's look into this article a little bit more. Then we're going to talk about the bigger picture here and the new unemployment numbers that just came out. And could this nightmare like this, where lawmakers basically force more closures and more layoffs, could this unfold nationwide with the other laws that may be enacted? I'm going to read an excerpt out of this article. Grocery workers during the emergency merit additional compensation because they are performing hazardous duty due to the significant risk of exposure to the infection, the ordinance said. Continues, they are working in these hazardous conditions now and will continue to face safety risks as the virus presents an ongoing threat for an uncertain period, potentially resulting in subsequent waves of infection, end of quote. Mayor Garcia praised the action, quote, these folks that are working at these markets, at these grocery stores are heroes. This is nothing new. They have received this type of additional pay in the past, and if they deserved it in the past, they deserved it now, unquote. All right, so let's stop right there. No one is arguing that they don't deserve higher pay. I think there's tons of occupations I can think of where people need to be paid more, especially the more dangerous ones and the more physically laborious occupations. And I think the guys sitting in suits and some of these lawmakers just sitting there with their pens and their suits, I think they need to be paid much less, and maybe we don't even need them if you ask me. Now, when you look at Kroger, this also includes other locations that are under the umbrella of Kroger, places like Ralph's and Food for Less. Now, here is a statement from the stores, quote, as a result of the City of Long Beach's decision to pass an ordinance mandating extra pay for grocery workers, we have made the decision to permanently close long-struggling store locations in Long Beach. Kroger parent company of both stores said in a statement. Quote continues, this misguided action by the City of Long Beach Council oversteps the traditional bargaining process and applies to some, but not all, grocery workers in the city. All right, so there you have it. Some of these stores are closing permanently because they were already barely scraping by. Now you have all these employees that were declared as heroes. They need to go find a new job. Will they be able to find a new job, or will they be one of the hundreds of thousands of people that have to file new jobless claims every week? And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute or two. Right now, this story continues. It says a lot of other grocery chains are also worried what this will mean. It's only temporary, but that doesn't mean they're going to be able to survive, and that doesn't mean that this can't be renewed or made permanent. All right, so when we think about the businesses that struggle to pay their workers more, what do we think about? We think about the mom and pop shop, the small business that maybe the middle class American runs. We don't think about these large corporations that most people have heard of, like Kroger. And while the chain may be profitable overall, you may see the profits and you may say, oh yeah, they can pay more. It doesn't mean that every location is profitable, right? You have some locations that are profitable and some locations that are barely scraping by, and even mega corporations have to close down certain locations. Look at Starbucks. They're actually closing some locations here in San Diego, and I think probably the rest of the country, even though overall as a company they're doing very well. Well, it's actions like this from lawmakers that can affect some locations and maybe enough to affect the company as a whole. But I'm wondering, I'm asking the question, and let me know what you think about this. A lot of these lawmakers that are signing these laws, these orders, mandating this hero pay, are any of them, have they ran a business themselves? Right? A lot of times these are career politicians. They really don't know a thing or two about running an actual business. A lot of them never have had a real job. Right? We see these people for their entire life sitting and legislating, acting like they know best. They may not be able to get a job if they went out into the real labor force. I'm talking about the non-government sector, the private sector. But yet they can sit there and pass laws like they know what's best, like they know what the businesses can handle and what they can't handle. Right, it's an absolute nightmare, and if they continue this, let me know what you think. What if they increase the minimum wage nationwide? They make it mandatory to pay, let's say, $15, $16, $17 an hour. And how many businesses are going to be able to survive that when it's applied nationwide, across the board? How many more layoffs are we going to see? How many more businesses are going to say, sorry, we can't cut it, and half of our locations are now closed? All right, so here's the quote-unquote good news of the week, which is really, really bad news. Jobless claims better than expected the last 2 weeks and the lowest in 2 months. Let's go down to the chart here. Here we go again. There is no recovery. Go all the way back to the pre-pandemic, and what do we see? We still see we're 3 to 4 times higher than we were before the shutdown recession. So then we hear, hey, JJ, the unemployment number, it's getting lower and lower and lower. I think you're being a little bit doom and gloomish, and I think you need to be more optimistic. Look at the unemployment number. All right, first of all, the official unemployment number is cherry-picked. It's fake and phony. But for further evidence on that, let's take a look at this article right here. Another reason for third stimulus checks being needed. Jobless benefits are not reaching 8 million people. So 8 million people are not even getting the unemployment that they signed up for. And guess what? They're not being counted in the official number. It continues here. About 1 in 4 unemployed workers received benefits in the last 2 weeks, according to an analysis published. A labor economist at the University of Illinois. Around 8 million jobless people aren't getting the aid they estimate. Right? So these are more people that slip through the cracks. More people that are not counted in the official number. You see, but you're not supposed to know about that. You're not supposed to put these pieces together. You're not supposed to connect the dots. You're not supposed to figure out what's going on. Otherwise, more people, most of the country would be awake and aware of what's happening. Right? But instead, more people are going to say, yes, they're going to believe that these lawmakers, they can fix everything. Just print more money, everything will be fine, no problem. The lawmakers, they know what they're doing. They're experts, right? Well, just ask the quote-unquote heroes that now have to look for a new job that worked at these grocery stores. It's going to be all for this one, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. We'll be back for more updates this week. Please hit that notification bell. Hit that subscription button if you haven't already. Please support this channel. Help get the message out. Help wake people up. Thank you for watching. Bye for now, people.